Hi, Kaylyn. How was your experience at G2 over the summer?
Okay. So just for context, G2 is a girls only math camp which has around 60 people every year. It's at MIT and it's all covered. So yeah, it's free. And a typical day in my life at G2 would be breakfast starts at 8:30 and it goes until 9:30, and then we walk over to class, which is 9:30 to 11:30, and then lunch, which would be the next hour, so until 12:30, and then we would have 2 more hours of classes until 2:30, and then from 2:30 to 4:30 we had optional problem solving sessions, which was when we would work on a weekly problem set that we would get, and that would be 20 questions. I think it would range from like early math prize to like EGMO and IMO problems. And then after that, we had free time from 4:30 to 6. Sometimes we would have like lectures or other things we could go to. But yeah, typically not. And then from 6 to 7:30 we would have dinner, and then 7:30 to 8:30 we would have also an optional lecture. And yeah, we would go back to the dorms at 8:30 and we would just do whatever we wanted for the rest of the night. So how classes were split were, we had 60 people this year, which was we got split into four classes. We called it A2, C2, G2, and N2, and those stand for algebra, combo, geometry, and number theory. I was in A2. I'm pretty sure A2 and C2 had the same content, and then N2 and G2 had the same content. I'm not sure how the classes were split, but I think it was based on how your application set was. So yeah. Um, Also at G2 it was 17, I think 18, no, 17 days. And so essentially they split it into 3 weeks. So the first week was around 4 days, and then we had two-day weekends, so it was like 4, 2, 3, 2, 4, I think, something like that. And then on normal weekdays, that was what the schedule looked like. And then on weekends, we didn't have any classes, so we had lunch and then, or I guess breakfast and then lunch. Um, and then we had a mock Olympiad for 4.5 hours on, I guess, the first day of the weekend, which was Saturdays, but it wasn't actually Saturdays. Um, and essentially, you could have a choice between three mock Olympiads that you wanted to do. So G2 and N2, for the first one, I think they did the B Olympiad. And then A2 and C2, we were given the choice between A and EGMO. Um, and then for the second weekend, on the first day on our Olympiad, we were also given three choices. This time they named it after Pokemon characters, I think. So we had Eevigmo, and then we had like Bulbasaur or something, and then I forgot what A was, but I think it was another Pokemon. And yeah, so that was our the first day of our weekends, and then the second day of our weekends we had excursions. Um, and so we were given a choice between around 8 to 10 excursions every like both days. And so we could go like ice skating, we could go to escape rooms and level 99, or we could just stay at the dorms and like do whatever we wanted. So for me personally, the first weekend I went to level 99, and then the second weekend I went ice skating. And so yeah, that was pretty fun.
Awesome. So, what's the difference between A, B, and EGMO mocks?
EGMO is obviously the hardest one. I did it the first time and then I got cooked. So then I just did A the second time. And then B, I would say, would be the easier one. So essentially, I think both times they just had a pool of 5 questions, and then I think they took something like 1, 2, 3, and then like 2, 3, 5, and then 3, 4, 5. and it was like an increasing order of difficulty. So yeah, I think that's how that worked. Um, but yeah.
Great. And is G2 an invitational camp or is it application based?
It was application based. We had a problem set of 5 questions that we had to do. I would say the first two were pretty easy, and then problem 3, I had like a 2-page write-up, and then 4 and 5 were like, I guess harder, but yeah. I solved like 4.5 questions, I think. Um, yeah, and then for the rest of the application, unlike other camps, we didn't have any essays or anything we had to write. There was a section for achievements, but obviously I don't really have any and I still got in. So I don't think you need that many achievements. I think what they're looking for mostly is like what's in your problem set and like how many questions, how many OLLI questions you're able to do. I think that's it. We also didn't have any like teacher recommendation letters or anything like that. So I think it's just mostly based on your own skill and yeah.
Interesting. And what was the most fun moment throughout the entire camp for you?
Um, Probably uh after the second mock Olympiad, which was like Saturday, I think. Um, we went to a concert and that was pretty fun. We went to a Keshi concert. Um, but also I would say the last day was also very memorable because we had classes and I was dying from those classes because we were learning about something called Burnside's lemma. And then after that we had like talent show and then we had an all-nighter. So I think that was pretty memorable because I just like got to meet a lot of people and like play Avalon with them, which is very fun.
Yeah, cool. And what was the coolest thing you learned at camp?
I would say everything I did was pretty cool. We learned about like spiral similarity and inversions and like a lot of geometry topics. Um, So yeah, I think like the most memorable topic or like problem set from classes was the inversion problem set because I think I solved the most questions on the problem set after that class. So yeah.